Right. I think I'm live now. And I was just talking to myself for literally like 5 minutes. I did not realize I was actually muted, right? So let's just see this. Yeah, oh my god, I'm a massive idiot, guys, and I do apologize for that. I'm an idiot. But well, you can hear me now, and that's the good thing, right? Let me just make sure that you can hear me. I do apologize for that. Yeah, see, the one time I don't do my audio checks at the start of the stream, we mess it up, of course. So, you know, I'm gonna put a note down here to always check the sound at the start of the stream. But anyway, it's good to see you again. And as I said, we're going to be doing some more C++. As I was trying to say, we're going to be doing some more C++ on the stream today. We're going to continue with the work that we began in the last stream, where we pulled the DevilutionX codebase, which is the codebase for the reverse engineering of Diablo 1, of the Diablo 1 game. And we're going to finish the work that we started because I actually want to finish this, and I realized that it's going to take some more time than only 2 hours, which is what we spent, 2 or 3 hours in the last stream. And this is what we're here for, right? I also said that, you know, the last stream that we had for C++ didn't really do too well in terms of views and interactions, because I guess, you know, most of the people watching me are here for the Golang stuff, which is fair enough. But I think you might, you know, if you give C++ a chance, you might enjoy it. So why not stick around and you know, maybe interact with me on the chat here. Yes, and I don't really care about the views for today's stream anyway. I just want to get the work done. That's why we're doing this again, because I want to be able to push this PR and get it merged onto the DevilutionX codebase, right? So yeah, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is obviously open the project that we pulled in the last stream. Actually, before that, let's take a step back. Let's look at the changes that we actually implemented in the last stream, right? And whenever you're checking out changes that someone has made on a repository, the best thing to do is to actually look at their PR, their pull request, because in the pull request, you'll be able to see all the change files and, you know, basically everything that they've done since they forked your project or they created a new branch, right, from main or whatever. So yeah, let's look at that. So if we go into was it DevilutionX? I'm not sure if it's, yeah. No, so this is Diasurgical here. I want my fork of this. There you go. So my fork is here, and I think I did create a pull request just so we can see the things today. And we didn't change that many things if you look at it. So we'd made some like shallow changes to be able to have more money at the start, which is it's not actually going to make it to the end of the PR. It's just so we can test our stuff. And we changed the name of Griswold here to something rude. And funny story, right? When I was actually uploading this PR, when I was like creating this PR on my branch, I targeted the wrong branch. So I targeted the wrong repository. That's what I meant to say. So I targeted the actual Diasurgical.x, the Diasurgical.x repository, right? So basically, I got a bunch of notifications in the morning after, like, yeah, my pipeline didn't pass, and then like I realized that someone commented on it. I was like, oh, that can't be a viewer commenting on my stuff, right? And it wasn't. It was not a viewer. It was someone commenting on the actual DevilutionX stuff that I did. So if I look into the pull request here, we'll be able to see. Or maybe not. Maybe I actually have to go into that Diasurgical.x Devolution. So Diasurgical Devolution. And if I look into pull requests here and I click on author, there's author, I think. Yeah, there it is. You can see that I've actually accidentally raised the PR before it's finished on the branch, and then someone was like, what the hell is this? And this is the most embarrassing I've ever felt, to be honest. And this probably should go to the list of real bad PR comments or real bad pull requests, because, you know, from an outsider, you just look at this and you see this rude change here, but like, what the hell is this guy doing? But anyway, I thought that was quite embarrassing, and hopefully that made this person laugh and not cry. But anyway, so we will obviously be creating the PR on the main repository once it's done. But without further ado, let's get into it. So we have, I'm just going to open Google here, keep it there. And let's open the repository. So development, DevilutionX. If I look at changes here, there should be none. And then I'm gonna, right, there should be none. What branches do we have? Why is it master only? Oh no, this is on my WSL. This is not what I meant to do. I meant to go into development and then go on DevilutionX here, because that's on the right branch. Because we're building natively for Windows, right? So we don't really care about the WSL one. And yeah, here we are. Everything is as what we left, basically. No changes at all. I'm beginning to think that streaming a little bit earlier than usual is not good, because there's no one in the chat watching me at all. Usually we get like 10 people watching at the same time, which is good. But anyway, yeah, let's try and compile this again just to make sure. I think actually it's a good point that I'm bringing this up. So if I look into my previous video, which should be here somewhere, and make sure I don't share too much with you guys by bringing it to the other view. This song sucks, so it's going away. Yeah, I got some comments from the actual maintainer of DevilutionX, and I would like to check one of them. So he said that he was wondering if the build was very slow because we're only building with one CPU, so the J function here. We can check that. I thought that is something I definitely added to my preset. So we can check that real quick. Alright, let's just... No, we're not. So that is something we can do. Yeah, let's move this from single-threaded building to multi-threaded. So CMake presets. I need to look at the option for increasing the number of cores. So J. There you go. Jobs equals parallel. An option is integer, which goes inside where the build preset. Okay, so it goes inside the build preset, which means we should be able to go in these two presets here, I guess, and then do jobs, and then do something like, I don't know, how many cores do I have? I think I've got 12, right? Do I have 12 cores? That's a good option. That's a good question. So let's see here. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got 12 cores, right? So I can use all 12 cores. Why not? And I'm going to do the same here for the debugging build. And of course, we're going to reconfigure everything because we just have to. I don't think we have to reconfigure actually, but yeah. Now let's see if the build is actually very, a lot quicker. Oh, I put 4, but I meant to do 12. That's the number of cores I have in my CPU. So what this does in CMake, by the way, so if you've got a build preset, or you're simply calling CMake -- build, you can set the number of cores to use for your build with this option here, the jobs. Obviously in the CMake command, it would look something like this. Let me see if I can increase this a little bit. So CMake build, and then you've got a directory here to build, and then you pass in J4 or J12 or whatever here, right? And that is going to build on multiple threads. I don't know why CMake doesn't do this by default, so it just figures out the number of threads you have and then builds them on the maximum number of threads. But, oh well. So if we build it, let's see how fast it is now. We'll see if this affected anything at all. I can see that it's, actually utilizing most of my cores, which is interesting. I do have a massively, extremely slow machine. I mean, I bought this laptop, I think it was like 3 years ago now, so it's getting old, guys. It's getting old. And the thing with laptops as well, even though you might buy a cutting-edge laptop today, you know, let 3 years or 4 years go by and it will no longer be the top of the line. Especially my GPU. My GPU is actually considered very old today. I think it's a GTX 1080 or something, max Q, which is very, very slow. Let's see here. There you go. That's sorry, an RTX 2070. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a 1080 for some reason. But you know, it's still very, very slow. It's not even a 370. This is what you get if you buy your stuff. There you go. It's much faster now, isn't it? I think that actually did make a difference. So, thank you, Anders. Thank you, Anders Jumbo. That was well spotted. Yeah. So let's take a look at the file that we actually modified. I think that's inv, right? Is it inv? So it's Alt plus O will switch between header and... Okay. Yeah, so check inv paste is the function that we're actually modifying, right? And if we go back to the repository, and take a look at the changes again. Let's look exactly what we did. So we introduced that the pre-calculated table, right, which we think it might improve things a little bit. I mean, performance-wise, I don't think it will matter that much because as far as I can tell, what we're actually refactoring here is the action of like selecting items and like pasting them into the inventory, right? And that doesn't run all the time. That's not really kind of essential to performance, right? So we could just leave as what we want. So I'm going to put a comment here, so maybe we don't need this because this code is only running every now and then. It's not really a bottleneck. So, you know, making this change here, which adds kind of like a layer of complexity from what it used to be, isn't really necessary because the code isn't a bottleneck. That's what I can say here. So we're going to add a single comment here. And what else did we do? So we added a bunch of functions here. In fact, I did some of these off screen. So I added a bunch of functions that were previously being called from the switch case in the function we're actually supposed to refactor. So just remember, you guys, the task is to refactor this function check inventory paste, inv paste, which had something like 300 lines of code, and some of the code was very difficult to understand. And the very obvious thing to do here, which was actually outlined by, I think, Anders on the task description, was to move these switch case arms here to their own functions, right, and give it a name. So for example, we refactored this code here, which was changing, you know, it's not very obvious what it's doing, but it was changing the body equipment. And as soon as you do something like this, or you just for the simple act of taking this whole code and putting it into a function, first of all, it decreases the complexity of the function because you look at it and you don't have like a lot of nested ifs and switch cases here. Obviously, it's still there in the assembly in the end because you know it's just inside the function. So you reduce the sort of like cognitive complexity of the function. So it's easier for you to read what's happening. And also, if you give it a nice name to it, you understand exactly what this code is doing. So like we know that when I click on change body function here, and it takes me up to the actual function here, I know that this entire code, the outcome of this is that it's going to take this slot for the item and this player, and it's simply going to change the body equipment, right? So it's much better in the sense of, you know, readability to do something like this. Hello Peter, you're actually the first one here, dude, and I've been streaming for like 10 minutes, so I think it's going to be a quiet day today, but yeah, it's good to see you, man. Thank you very much for joining. Don't forget to drop that like, dude. Chef's kiss, appreciate it. And we're doing some more C++ today, dude, and I hope you're good with that. So let's see what else we can kind of refactor here. So I would like to look at the remaining stuff. So one hand case here was simply just changing the equipped item. So you've got like your sword or your bow, or like cleavers and shit like that. So this is the function that would run. I refactored it, I simply just moved it out. One of the things that I didn't really do was to const correct some of this, right? Because some of these variables here could just go to constant. And in fact, what does this return? So you can just do an auto const here, or const auto. I don't know if they use east or west const. My gut says that they probably use west const here, because that's the typical thing that people do. Can we const this item? Can we const the item? Yeah, I don't see why not, right? I don't see why not. Yeah, and I'm surprised because I'm meant to be late today. Let me enjoy C++. Thank you, dude. I hope you've been having a good week, dude. It's the middle of the week now, so you know, time is going very fast. You know, Peter, since I started streaming, dude, like I have very little time to do the things that I used to do. I enjoy doing coding, obviously, on stream. That's why I'm doing it. And before I was just doing it off stream, like, you know, without anyone watching me. But I find it a little bit more difficult now to just sit down and focus on, you know, watching a film or, yeah, spending time with some people. So I definitely need to be better at managing the time. But at the same time, you know, I'm trying to do as much as possible so I get the YouTube growth that we've been seeing, which, you know, it's gone quite crazy recently. Like we managed to get 200 subscribers in like less than, what is it? Like 10 days, which is pretty good for the channel. We've never had this before, but yeah, all thanks to you, my dude. Thank you. You were like one of the first, so I do appreciate that. Yeah, we can change that to a const here, and then we've got change equipment. It's called here. Now I wish Anders, which is the guy who maintains this, was actually watching this. I would be very willing to get him on the stream. Like, it'll be amazing to kind of talk to someone like Anders and just ask him about his experiences with open source and maintaining a huge project that is DevilutionX, and see what he thinks about it. Hello, Susie Tags. Welcome to. Now, I also seem to have a little time after starting to code, and this computing world is crazy, you know. yeah. Once you start getting into coding and you actually like enjoy doing it, doing anything else outside kind of feels like you're wasting time, right? Because you could be getting better, and that's what I need to get better at. Not thinking like that all the time, because you know it's kind of unhealthy if you're just doing it all the time. You're gonna get burned out eventually. Like I got burned out in previous jobs, and it's a real thing. So do be careful, guys. One of the how can I say this? Let me think. One of the disadvantages that the YouTube like coders and the software developer content creators don't tell you is that although it seems like an easy job, although coding seems like an easy job, if you do it wrong and if you do it too much, you do get burned out. So for example, when I was working for Microsoft, there was a time where I was just doing like crazy hours. I was working until like 1 AM, like 2-3 times a week, just to try and get things done that were like random projects that kept getting thrown at me, basically, because I was a contractor. And if you do that for a long time, and I'm saying like maybe a month or 2 months, you're essentially going to start enjoying it a lot less, enjoying your work a lot less. So you start enjoying your work a lot less, and you get something called burnout, which is like when you literally can't think anymore and you have to take some time off. And if you don't take some time off, your mental health is just gonna, explode, basically. So I recommend, if you're new in this life of software development, obviously try and improve yourself whenever you can, do as much as possible, but do take some time off as well. Go watch a film, play a game, play some football, do something that's not coding or not in front of the computer, because you will get burned out if you don't. That's what I can advise you guys. But anyway, let's get back into it. And that's going to probably end up as a short on YouTube. Not my fault, sorry. See, yeah, play some football, dude. I mean, if you can be as good as Ronaldo, you know, why not? Yeah, so we're just consting some stuff here, like, you know, we consted as much as possible. This function already has const in it, which is the other arm. Now change two-hand item. So this function gets called whenever you have an item that you paste in and is a two-hand item. So it takes both slots on the game. Let me show you what I mean. So like if you run the game, right? Let's look at it. Oh, tell me if it's too loud, by the way, guys. I don't know if the game sounds too loud. So let's see if we can find a two-hand item here.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
So if you buy a basic item and you look at small shield, dagger, claymore. Like Morning Star is a two-hand item, I think. Maybe go back. Let's buy premium items. Sound is fine. Thank you, dude. Like the mace. The mace is a two-hand item, right? So if we buy it and look at the inventory, like I can't put anything else in here. Oh no, I can't. The mace is a one. Never mind. Point is, suppose the mace was a two-hand item, right? When you paste it in here, it will take both slots, left and right hand, right? So for example, if you had like a shield here and the mace was a two-hand item, you gotta now drop the shield, so it has to be on your hand like this, so you can place it in there. And that's what that function does. It does this check and make sure that it automatically kind of like selects the other item, right? So we can see the logic in here. Let's see if we can actually describe that logic. So for example, if the player, the inventory, the body inventory on the hand left is not empty, and the inventory on the right hand is also not empty. So if they're both taken by something, you do a bunch of things, which is not really the case I was talking about, but you can see that we are checking if the right hand was a shield, and if it's a shield, we're gonna unequip the shield, right? That's what we're doing here. And then it's gonna say also place in inventory item in inventory. So when you do that, it's gonna automatically place the item in the inventory. So if you have two items, one of them is gonna be selected and the other one is gonna be put into your inventory automatically. That's what it means here. So it kind of means that, you know, every two-hand item is automatically put into your left hand, right? That's what it means. Yeah, location to unequipped is here. Yeah, so he unequips the shield. Cool. But then this is what I mean, like, so if the player inventory, like the hand on the right hand is empty, so there's no items in there, the previously equipped item is whatever's on your left hand, and we change the equipment, so we put this new item into, I guess, yeah, we put the hold item into your left hand, so whatever you were holding before goes into your left hand, and then we say that the hold item is now the previously equipped item, right? So we just do a swap there if there's one hand. And as you can see on the two-hand case, it's a little bit more difficult because you gotta unequip, like basically you gotta unequip both of them. But something special happens here. So like if there's two items currently equipped on each, one on each hand, then one of them goes into your inventory, and then the remaining one here, which you know is this branch here on the left hand, just gets put into your hold item, right? So that is the whole logic that we were looking at. Right, so let's continue here. I don't want to take too long on this. So if the location is unequipable, right? So what is an unequipable location? So let's see what the location unequipable is. armor. So it goes from what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it goes from 7 to 30. I guess it goes from 7 to 40, right? So what are these locations? What do they mean? Because I have no idea, yeah? I have no idea, yeah? So item location table, which takes an item equip. And this lot is what? Okay, so from location 7, which is this one here, so inventory first to 50 something, so 40, right? Yeah. Ah, okay, these are the rows in the game. So if we run it again, these locations represent, I believe it would be like where you can actually put your items, right? So like these ones here. So row 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what we have, right? And that's what we represented here. So we've got row 1 to row 4. Okay, yeah. I've got the first and the last here of each one. So we've got row 1 is 7, and then row 2, that's 26. There's like 10 on each one. So 0 to 1, 2, 3. Yeah, cool. So there's 10 on each row, as you can probably see here. That is just keeping enums for that. Why do we want to know that? Well, I want to know that because if the location of the item we're trying to paste is in one of these unequipable places, so if we're putting the item in here somewhere, that's what it means, right? What are we doing? This is what we got to figure out now. So the hold item is gold, and it was it. What is it? Oh no. Yeah, we need to know what this shit is, because I have no idea. There is some crazy logic here to find like the location to put an item in, and this is like bothering me. I don't know what it is. IT. So if IL is, the location is unequipable, II is slot minus slide, so I inventory first. So you're gonna get how far it is from the first inventory. That's II. And if the hold item is a gold item, what are we doing here? This song sucks. Yeah, if it's a gold item and the inventory grid, place in inventory grid, right? So what is this? That is an array that holds 40, all right. So it's just, I guess, the grid for this. Cool. And if the player.inventory grid II isn't 0, so what does it represent here? It's int 8. So I guess, is it like either 0 or 1 to say if it's taken? Because I have no idea. So IV definitely represents some sort of like ID for the item, I guess. The item that's currently being held at this position in the grid. If IV is more than 0 and player inventory list IV minus 1 is type gold as well. So is not a gold, sorry. And IT equals IV. This is confusing. Like, I need to know what this IV thing is. I guess it would be some sort of like, oh, this is where we need to get the this, guys. because we're gonna draw some stuff. We're gonna draw some stuff on Zerno++. By the way, if you guys have a tablet, a drawing tablet, kind of like this one where you can have like a little pen and draw on it, I recommend this little software here, Zerno++. It is better than Excalibur for graphics tablets. Things just look a little bit better. So let's get started here with drawing what this actually means, because I'm trying to understand this bit of code so we can refactor it. All right. So what do we have? We've got this inventory grid, which is like, I guess, an array of all the cells, right? So we've got the inventory grid here, which kind of looks something like the following, right? So we have a big array of like either zeros apparently, or some random integer, like, so I'm gonna put here, so n, where n is a kind of n is u int 8, right? So it can hold from like 0 to 255, right? That's what u int 8 is. It's just a byte. Now I want to understand what this u int 8 represents here, right? And how big is this grid? Well, this grid is the number of cells in your inventory, n cells, so number of cells in inventory, right? So what we can see is that each kind of grid cell here has a value in this inventory grid, and what that value is, that's what we're trying to find out, right? So let's see if we can figure out here. So if the hold I type is not item type gold, item type, so if it's any other item but not gold, so if it's not a gold, and then the inventory grid at II, what is II again? Gosh. II is the slot minus, okay, so this is kind of, this is important. So this is where in inv grid, right? So we have the slot here as well. I didn't put that down. So we have the slot, which is the cell, right? Is the cell in inventory grid, in the inventory, right? Let's move this a little bit so we don't get confused. Oh, that did not work. Now, I kind of have a guess on what this is doing, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Not entirely sure, but let's go with it anyway. So if II, which is the slot, actually this should have been II, not slot. So let's get this again. So this is II. Yeah, which we can straight away give a better name. So like cell number, right? This should have been cell number right here. Let's obviously change this. That's the first part of refactoring today. So cell number. Right here. So if that cell number is not 0, and IV, this is the other variable that we're going to try and figure out what the hell it actually is, right? So we can give a better name to it and understand the code. So if where we're trying to put the item, which is the cell number, is not 0, so if it has something that's not 0, it's doing this, but I don't know what this is actually doing. Oh, this does not work well with the pens. IV is the cell number, and player IV minus 1. So IV also refers to a location in the inv group, right? And it has to, in the inventory grid. And it has to be valid because we use it to kind of reference that. In fact, we know that it's always going to be more than... So if IV is more than 0, and if player inv list.itype is not gold, oh gosh. This is messed up. Why is this so difficult to understand? Yeah, so I think from this logic here, I kind of get the feeling that each of these items in the grid, right? So something like, you know, let's make this into a multiple, like a 2D array, right? It's not really a 2D array, but let's consider this being a 2D array. And then we have like all of them here. So something like, you know, 0. Oh, why am I disconnected? Is my chat still disconnected? Okay. Am I still online? Okay, yeah. I just had my chat disconnected for some reason. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna draw out what I think it means here, right? But I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, thank you, Susie. So I'm gonna draw out that this probably means something like this. So it probably means this. So in here, what we have is that each of the indices in this array, they obviously reference another index, right? And that index is like where the item begins. I'm gonna say is the top left, because usually that's how people do it, so it makes me think, you know, it's the same here. So say, you know, this is your inventory, and, you know, each of these numbers is a cell. This is a 10 by whatever 4. Yeah, 10 by 4 array, right? So we only missed one array here, but that we didn't draw out. But then if you pick this index here, you want to know if it's occupied, right? And if it's a 0, it means it's not occupied, that index. So you know that index is not occupied. But if it's not a 0, so if it's like a 2, I think that number represents where the item begins, right? So this number is always going to be a 2 because this is, let's say, a shield which takes 4 spaces, and this space is like kind of here. So all of these will be 2. Now, is this what it means? I don't know. You know, let's see. I think it's what it means from the logic here, which means that IV is then the, you know, let's just call it the beginning. You know, the beginning item begin, item cell begin, right? And I'm going to replace it just to see if the code makes sense. You see, so if the item cell beginning is more than 0, so if the cell is taken up by an item. But then this is the bit that I don't understand. So if the player minus 1 isn't a gold, so basically, like if this says 2 here, we look at this one here, and this is... Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so the number of inventory list. Oh yeah, no, this is a different array, you see. I was thinking that this is the grid. But inventory list, what is this? Inventory grid cells. 40. So inventory list is an item. Okay, so the inventory grid accompanies the inventory list. So they both have the same size. And the inventory list is just like the same thing, but instead of each number here, you have an actual item, right? So we check that the item in the list, the one in here, isn't a gold. IT then references that. IT is then, you know, gonna be that position. See, I don't understand this logic now because yeah, no, I think this is the wrong name. So item cell begin is not a right name. I think it means something else. Which means it probably doesn't mean what I just explained to you, but we're gonna keep going. And if it is 0, we set IT to minus item cell begin. And what is IT? How is IT used? So IT was used down here, right? That's why we're looking at this in the first place. So if IT was 0, so the whole item is gold, and IT was 0, so if it's the first location, I guess. Inventory grid, and we do a bunch of inventory grid checks here again. This is so confusing. Maybe we can debug this. Let's try and debug it and see what happens. I'm gonna put a breakpoint right here. I'm gonna get this to trigger by pasting a gold item, right? So yeah, what are you guys finding of this? Are you just as confused as me? Have you ever like done anything as difficult as this, I guess? Because this isn't too easy, I would say. It's definitely not the most difficult thing I've seen, but you know, this code base is definitely has places where you can see that it's straight out from the reverse engineering. Like it's literally what the whatever tool they used here to reverse engineer is what it spits out. Right, yeah, let's run this and then see if we can trigger this code here. Single player, my name.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
Yeah, so this is where we go, right? So we've got some gold here. And we pasted the gold. Actually, yeah, let's paste it into a different position. Let's paste it right here. Right at the start, because we know that this lot is 1, right? This lot is 1. So IL should be 7, which should give me 1 here, which is the position, right? And if the whole type is gold, which it is, placing a gold item into the grid somewhere, yeah, that's what I guessed. But the cell number here is it 0? No, it's 0, so it's not going to go through this, right? And we're going to see it in a bit what happens when this is not 0. We're going to see this. And it's going to go into the else. Oh, no, it's not going to go into the else. Why not? Why did it not go into my else here? That's interesting. Let's do it again. let's do it again. Put that there, don't care. So we know that cell number is 1 now, and this is a gold, right? So we're gonna go into here. Ah, okay, never mind. That else statement is just somewhere else, never mind. Yeah, but it's good to know what happens anyway. So it doesn't go through this either, so it's not in the belt. And desired is not that, we return. It doesn't do anything if the desired location is not the location that we're putting things in. And it's none of, if IL is none of these, it is one of these, so it's not going to go through, right? Naveen, hi Naveen, welcome to the stream, dude. I hope you enjoy doing some debugging in C++. And the P mode, what's P mode? Player mode. Walk, stand, def. Okay, I don't know what this has to do with the logic here, but we're going to skip it for now. What are you doing? I am doing some refactoring for the Diablo codebase. So, you know Diablo, the game? This is the first one. And we have the C++ code compiling, and we're basically just refactoring some code, making it look a little bit nicer. And we're trying to understand what the code is doing right now, the code that we're looking at. Because we're looking at the code that's like pasting items into the inventory here. Yeah. By the way, guys, if you can take some time and like the stream, that would help me out massively. So thank you very much. I would appreciate if you can do that, dudes. And don't forget to subscribe as well for more videos like this one. Yeah. So going to none of. And if player is my player, so we play the effect. Wait, so we just equip it, I guess, right? And we go in here, which is unequipable. So those are just some pre-checks. These just seem to be pre-checks for the gold item, right? But what does it do? I don't know. That's what we're gonna figure out. So if the player is holding an item that's gold and IT is 0, II is where it should go. So it goes into 0. Wait, II is 0 as well. So if the player grid of II is more than 0, which is not, there's no item in there, so it wouldn't be. We're gonna do this. So else inventory index is the player.inventory index. Pnum. What is this? Pnum number of inventory number. I don't know what that means, but we'll figure out. So player gold is going to be the hold item.I value, which this is going to add the value of the gold to the current gold, right? But it caps at 10,000, so I don't know. Let's see what happens. It adds the previous gold to the current gold, and the inventory list is going to be hold item pop. P num inventory plus plus. What's number of inventory? P num inventory. And then we're gonna set the player inventory grid II to player of wait, this is too advanced. I have no idea what this code is doing now. I'm lost. So we added the gold here from the previous gold. I don't know what happens if you have like 7,000 plus 7,000 because you would have to cap the gold at 10,000. I know this for a fact. The maximum amount of gold you can get is 10,000 and it splits into a different gold item. But I don't see how this is doing that. So player of number inventories plus plus. So that just adds this to this number, adds 1 to this number, but I don't know what that means. So inventory grade II is going to be player number in inventory. Let's keep going, see what this is doing. And then we said send the network change item thing, and we break, right? Cool, and that clearly moves the item, but what if I do something like this now? So we have this one, and we want to put it in here. So where there's already an item, right? So we're going to go into that check. It's unequipable, cell number is 0 in this case. It is gold, and the inventory grid should now be something, right? Oh, here are the values, by the way, so we can see it. Int A++. So inventory grid kind of looks like this now. So -4, -4. And then, so this is -4, -4. And then the 11th and 12th item are also -4. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. 10, 11th and 12th item. And then 20 and 21 should also be -4 and -4. Oh, 4 and -4. Jesus. What does this represent? The minus here. What is the middle one? -4 and -4. 11th and 12th. But then on the last row of the item is 4 and -4. So this is confusing. I don't know what this means. And then it's not 0, so we go into this cell begin. Yeah, this is not the right name, as we know. So if it's more than 0, else IT is going to be 4. So IT now has the value of 4. So IT, so inventory index is 3 now. So why is it going to 3? So 1, 2, 3. So inventory index is 3. And we're gonna do a stud swap. We swap the player in the inventory index by the hold item. So you put that hold item in there. And the hold item is value, is not gold, so okay, this calculates the difference. I see what it is now. Cool. And for each item index is player inventory, so it goes for all of them, right? Jesus Christ. Okay, so that swaps it, and what do we have now? So basically it does this. It swaps the item, and somehow this ends up on my hand. I'm still confused, but I'm gonna move on. Otherwise this is gonna take way too long. Way too long. We've been here for an hour, so it's time to see some results, right? Which means this was wrong. This is not what it represents, by the way. So we do not have something like this. It's a little bit more convoluted than that, and I guess it's we'll try to understand it in the future, but right now we're just gonna go with this. Let's just try and blindly refactor this then. So we have all of this stuff. It's gonna go into a function now. And this is clearly swapping the inventory item, right? So let's do that. So change void change inventory item. I'm gonna paste that in there. I'm just gonna format this nicely here. So we need the player, first thing. Player. What else do we need? We need IT. I guess IT will also go in here. I think that was an integer, IT. This should have been a player reference. We need a slot as well. So slot width is, which is an integer. And then the item size. Ooh, that is interesting. What is the item size type down here? It's a size, okay. So we've got item size there. And in theory, this just works now, right? So do we have any returns here? I don't think so. Good. Yeah, so in theory, we should just be able to kind of call this in here now. So change inventory item. Oh, we got a player, and we got the IT here, right? Is this setting IT by any chance? We'll figure out. And then we have the slot here as well, and then the item size. And we can get rid of all of this for now, because it's already in the function. Now item size is not coming in here. Oh, that's because I don't have a comment. Now we've got one less arm. I'm not very happy that we can't really understand this code and therefore not really do anything to it. But you know, I mean, we're going to have to just move on at some point so we can then come back to it and with more context and then see if we can understand what that's doing so we can like improve a lot of this shit here, because quite honestly I don't know. One of the things that I was wondering is this setting IT by any chance here? Setting the value of IT. Yeah, it is setting the value of IT, right? So which values is this setting? Is it setting this lot? Is it changing this lot? King Hader, hi dude, welcome to the stream. Good to see you again, man. Hopefully you're ready for some more C++ coding. Yeah, if this is setting this slot here, we might have to return. We definitely need to return the value of IT, right? We just got it. Otherwise, we'll break the other code. I love this song. This is from a very, very dear game to me, Kingdom Hearts. Actually, when I moved to the UK back in the day, like 2009 that was, I used to just stay at home all the time on my computer, and I had a PlayStation 2 as well with this game on it. So I would play this game all the time because at the time we had no internet, we had no Wi-Fi. It took us like ages for us to get internet in the UK. So yeah, I mean, I have really good memories of this game. So yeah, check it out, Kingdom Hearts. Really good soundtrack, really good storyline. Yeah, so we got to return the IT. Is there anything else that we should be setting that has just been taken in? So slot size. Slot has not been changed. Is item size being changed at all in this? No, it's not been changed. Again, the player is of course being changed here, but oh well. Wait, we actually changed the reference to player. What the hell? That's scary. Oh no, we checked that the pointer of the player is the same as my player. Right, cool. We're not changing, there's a double one here. Yeah, but anyway, so this should return an integer, right? So whatever this is. Now let's change this to previous IT. Refactor. Where's rename symbol? Yeah. We apply it just to this function. And in the end, we just got to return the IT as well in here, I'm afraid. Well, there are a lot of ifs and elses, yeah. And we just spent literally, I think it was like 40 minutes trying to understand what this is. And I got some idea of what this is trying to do, a little bit. But yeah, I mean, these are like, this is the code for changing the item into the inventory, right? And it's checking if it's gold, because if it's gold, then you have to like recalculate some stuff. You have to recalculate the gold, basically. Because it caps at 10,000, so it adds the gold that you have in your hand to the previous gold in the inventory, and then recalculates that. And these functions are all to do with that, I guess. All these calls here. And if it's not, you still have to like replace the item with something else. And then they've got like this inventory grid, which like stores an integer for every possible item you have in the inventory. And that integer value does mean something. It's something to do with the size, I think. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing the simple stuff now, and then I'm going to come back to this later and see if we can change this. Now, you can kind of understand why this is a very hard project. Like, you can understand why the reverse engineering of this code is very impressive, because like I've got the code here in front of me, and I'm trying to figure out what it does. Now, Galaxy Hacks, who's the original author of this project, I guess. Well, she made the reverse engineering for the C version, right? She just went off the binaries. Like, she had the binaries, she had the assembly, and then from the assembly, she managed to kind of deduce this. So yeah. So it's very impressive. And as I said before, reverse engineering is probably one of the most difficult things you can do in programming. Like, because it takes a lot of time, and then there's no guarantees of success basically in the end. But anyway, we have the change inventory item here, and we got to put the IT to equals that, I guess, right? Just make sure that I've got the right item. So this is int 8. That's what it should have been. Previous IT should have been int 8t, right? Or is it uint 8? Yeah, int 8t. Slot type is an integer, and item size is size. Okay. What is size in this case? The size of integers. Is this a fat thing, or yeah? This looks fat enough for me to slap a constant here. So I can do const down. Okay, and player wise, we can't put a const on the player. Are there any variables that we actually could const in here as well? So II, does it ever change? II doesn't ever change, so like we can straight away put a const here, or in fact a const here. Inventory index, do we ever change that? We can just const everything, right, and see what. IG can't be a const, so that's one of the ones that we can't do. So inverted index, inventory index can be a const. Can this be a const? Yeah, this can be a const. Now we can see straight away which variables do get changed later on in the function. So like IG, I know that it gets changed somehow. Obviously the player also gets changed, you know, everywhere in this, but it's fine. Now, have we broken anything? Let's build this and see if we can still run the game and if we can still change the gold around, right? So have you guys all got experience with coding before? Like, do you guys work in software development? What about you, King Hader? Are you also a developer, you know, in the daytime, or are you like a student or something, or aspiring to be a dev? Everyone's accepted here. I just want to understand my views a little bit better. Right, so we have I'm just gonna test it and see if it's not broken or immediately broken. Okay. Okay, we seem to be good. We seem to be okay now. Okay, good. I'm satisfied with that. And I think we haven't broken anything yet. Slim, yo! Hello, Slim. How's it going, dude? Yes, I want to become a programmer. Nice, King Hadia. You're in the right place, dude. So, any questions that you may have, as someone who's worked in the industry before can answer, I'm happy to help you, dude. Slim, it's good to see you, man. I'm not seeing you in a few days. How's it going, my brother? Hopefully work is fine and London's still good, right? Right, so, okay, so this kind of, you know, check inventory paste. We should have changed it, actually. Oh no, this is not the right function anyway. So we can change the inventory item, right? This is actually, you know, maybe a better name would be something like, let's stop this so we can get 10 cents back. So change, or, I don't know, place inventory item, right? Deals, because we're just placing, we're not changing them. I don't know. And then we've got this other one here. So if it's the bell, what can we put in the bell? That should be very easy, right? So we can put potions, so like mana potions or I guess health potions, right? What's SPD list? I don't know what SPD list is. And we check the position of that. So what do we have here? This one should be a little bit easier to understand, right? So basically this is just handling the logic for putting things in the bell. So if I put a breakpoint here, you see that this is gonna hit when I put things in the bell. So you've got belts here. So like if I put that there, you can see we're checking things now. The location is free. Where did I put it? Did I put in location free? I can't remember now. Yeah, so look, sorry, yeah, it's 0 index, so it starts at 4. We put it at 2, so that means the location is going to be 1 now. Here, right? Cool. And if SPD list is empty, we now put the item in the SPD list. I guess this SPD list is just holding all the items in the belt. That's my guess anyway. Why is it called SPD? Is it an acronym for something? Let me know what you guys think. It's the belt, right? It's your belt. Why is it SPD? That's my question. Why is it not called the belt list? But anyway, so we've got that, and it was empty, so he went through this, and then if it's my player, we send a command. Okay, I guess not. And then we redraw the component, panel component bell. So we redraw the bell here. Cool. I mean, this is kind of easy enough to understand, right? So, but now what happens if I buy another item here?
What ails you, my friend?
So if I buy a potion of rejuvenation, for example, and I guess mana, right? Those are the 3 different items two of the different items you can have. We can also have this. No, we can't put that there. Let's buy some potions and see what happens as well. Now we gotta walk all the way to Adria here to kind of get that. Well, that booklet's still here.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Okay, yeah, so that can go in the bell. Okay, yeah, those are the items you can go. So you can have scrolls, you can have mana, or whatever. Music is really cool. What's the name of the playlist? It's a DCMA free playlist on Spotify. Let's see if I can get you the link for it, dude, and I'll post it here, yeah? Copy link to playlist. Let me see if you can see it on the Facebook, on the YouTube chat. So right, we are trying to swap a potion with a scroll, or a town portal scroll, right? So what happens here? So the position is 0, and there is an item in there, so it's not empty, right? What's SPD list again? Item. Item has an empty. Is empty. If it's empty. So it checks whether this item is empty or not. True in the case it is empty and false otherwise. And I guess the default constructor for item is gonna set it to empty, right? Yeah, so we've got, let's see here how it checks for that. Item type is none. So if the item type is none, yeah, so the default item type is none. Okay, cool. Anyway, so going back to this now, so the item type is not empty, there's an item there, and we're going to swap the items, right? So whatever is in the belt, we're going to swap with the hold item, and that is it. Okay, except if it's gold. If it's gold, we have to recalculate it. Okay, there's always something with gold in it. Always. Cool. Let's try and do that. Let's try and add some gold. So if we have this... Yeah, like, why is he even checking for gold here? Like, we can't put gold in the bell. So what is this check even doing? So if the hold item is gold, we calculate the gold. So I don't understand this. Quick question: there is no try and catch anyone in C++, anywhere in C++. Why? You mean like there is no try and catch in here in this project? Anti-dupe. Is it a bad way of doing stuff? Are they trying to use like Go? No. So this project is actually like, it comes from a C project, right? So this is the C++ version of the Devilution code base, and obviously C doesn't have any try catch exceptions, right? So it doesn't throw anything basically. So I guess this doesn't have any of that because it was ported directly from the C version, which doesn't throw anything. However, throwing things, so throwing exceptions, is a really bad way of handling errors in C++, especially for performance, because the language has to like unwind the stack. And it just takes, you know, the way it's implemented in C++, it's extremely like slow, extremely slow. So that's why many people don't use it. So for example, if you work in an embedded software development role, like I did in the past, exceptions are disabled by the compiler. Like you can pass in a flag to the compiler to disable expressions, which makes you not be able to write any exceptions, and it will just like give you an error whenever you throw something. Or no, actually it won't give you an error. It will just like call terminate. Whenever you throw something, instead of actually throwing the error up the stack, it's just gonna the compiler is automatically gonna put a stud terminate in there. So it's just a very inefficient way of like handling errors in C++. So you know that's why you probably shouldn't use exceptions too much. You know, unless it's like a a piece of software where you know you don't have that many errors and you don't really care about the performance issues with it. So how would you handle errors then? Well, you can write good code, right? So you can, for example, just pass in optionals around. So like in Rust, you've got results, right? So you can return a result from a function, which is, you know, an OK value or an error. In C++, they don't really have that result type. However, we do have optional, which is kind of like the same as option in Rust. That's the way I kind of handle my errors. Like I always return options when a function can go wrong. So if the value is like null, I know that something went wrong with whatever function I'm trying to call. You can obviously also write very defensive programming, so you can put ifs everywhere to check that the inputs are valid, and you know, if something goes wrong, you can just log somewhere and then try to recover the state of the program to something nice. But yeah, it's handling errors in C++. I think you probably want to go with stud option now, stud optional in your return types, and then just pass the error up the stack to a single point of you know, where you handle all, maybe, you know, some of the errors, and then in there you can do whatever recovery you can do or you need to do. I would implement Rust results in C++. It makes much easier. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's already someone or a library that implements the Rust result. So Rust result C++. So let's see here on Stack Overflow what people recommend. Yeah, so optional, as I said, that tends to be what people use everywhere, and it's what I use. You can also do, you can use variants. So like you can have an error type, something like an error string, and if you always return like variants of error string or whatever value you're trying to return from a function, that could work as well. It would be a little bit interesting for visiting the values though, because you have to like implement a visitor to it. But yeah, and then C++23 has expected. That's interesting. Is an asymmetric type safe union. Is either a T or an E, but like optional, it prefers to be T. It has an explicit operator bool that tells you if it is a T, and unary gets the T. Okay, so that could be, you know, if you want to wait a few more years, this could be your answer. So stud expected seems to be the way to go. But yeah, I mean, for now, just use optional. Optional, you know, it does it in most cases. And you just pass the error up the stack. But, you know, I wouldn't say that throwing exceptions is necessarily bad, to be honest. I mean, for most GUI applications, for example, it's fine. It's good for you to just be able to catch an exception up the stack somewhere. It only really plays a part when you have performance-dependent applications. So, yeah. Anyway, enough of ranting about C++ exceptions. And one thing that I can absolutely recommend, guys, if you do programming quite a lot, is this. I'm not sure if you can see this. Wait, let me actually see if I can see it myself. Can you guys see this? It's like a cream for your hands, so they don't get too dry when you're typing. Like my hands get extremely dry when I type, so I have my working hands cream right here. Yeah, so that branch was very nice, right? That branch was actually quite nice to understand what's happening here. The only thing I don't really understand is the need to check the gold here. Like we can't paste. It doesn't seem like we can paste a gold item in the list. So I'm a bit confused. I'm a little bit confused. Just a little bit. Like, I drop the gold, I get the gold, let's put the gold in here. See, I can't paste it here. Is it something I broke, or is it always like this? I don't know, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't think I can put gold here. I'm pretty sure. You know, I've never done it in the past, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, so this chat kind of makes me a little bit worried that I've broken something, because it seems to me that you can indeed put gold in here, and this just does a check to calculate the gold. But yeah, can we put gold? in the belt. Yeah, let's do the same thing. So we're gonna move this into a function again. We're gonna put it up here, and then this is change belt item, right? So void change belt item. And then we've got all this code here. Ooh. Come on, Vim, help me out here. What do we need? We need the slot, which is an integer, I believe. We do need a player as well. Yeah, we need a player, a reference player here. What else do we need? I think that's it, right? Yeah. Now, are we changing any of these items inside here? I don't think so. I don't think we are, right? So let's follow with the const stuff, const everything and absolutely everywhere. I think that's the only value we're putting here. Now, is there any like logic that we can immediately kind of simplify here? So if it's empty, we do this. If it's not empty, we swap the item, and then we recalculate the gold as well. Yeah, this is very confusing to me. I don't think this code should be here at all. That's what I'm saying. I think this will never ever hit. That's what I'm saying. This is a broken branch, like a branch that's not gonna be hit ever. Yeah, so let's go back into wherever we copied this from. Yeah, right here. Change belt item, and we pass in the player and the slot. Just gonna make sure that slot is actually an integer. Okay, and in terms of this massive switch case, we did kind of simplify it a little bit. Now, can we make it even simpler? That's the question. Instead of a switch case, can we have like a map that will pick it? So, equipable invalid belt. Trying to reduce the number of lines here. So this function does return an inventory item here. Okay. I mean, so this is what our function looks like now. I mean, there's still this massive, ugly, like ifs inside ifs that I just don't understand yet. I don't know what this is doing. And then we've like managed to break down that switch case, which is also like maybe 150 lines long. Now it's a little bit less, and we can kind of see what we do. So like if the item location in the end is either a helmet, ring, amulet, or armor, we're going to call the change body equipment function, right? If it's a one-hand item, so if we're changing in one of the hands, then we change the equipped item, which is like a sword or a shield or something like that. And then I lock two-hand. So if it's a two-hand item, something like a heavy item for warriors, for example, I think is the mace. I can't remember if the mace is one of them. But like the butcher's cleaver, I'm pretty sure is a two-hand item. That's one of the, butcher's cleaver, Diablo one. There's a weaker somewhere. There you go. Let's see if this is a two-item. Does it say like whether it's a two-hand item or not? The butcher's cleaver, Diablo 1. So in Diablo, oh no, where's Diablo 1? There you go. This axe-like weapon whose damage resembles that of the battle axe. Though its unusual item damage modifier cuts the damage down from 10 to 25, can be obtained only in single player. You can do huge damage, especially for an item found on the second level of the dungeon. And many times, okay, it doesn't say whether it's a 1 or a 2-hand item, right? Oh, there you go. Becomes 2. Wait. And especially for an item found on the second level of dungeon, and many times has a warrior enjoyed axing his way through the next few levels until the lack of a shield becomes too painful and one-handed weapon damage begins to catch up with the axe. So yeah, I mean, this is a 2-hand item. Cool. I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, if it's an item like that, the Butcher's Cleaver, then it's going to call this function. And then if it's an unequipable item, so this is not something you can equip yourself, that means we're going to put it in the inventory, right? So we call the change inventory item function. And then at the end here, we've got the item location bell. So when you're putting it on the bell, we've got the change bell item function here as well. Slim, can I have this repo, please? I'll see if I can catch up with my C++. Dude, yeah, this will be a, you know, if you can understand some of it, it's, you know, it's a testament to how good you are in C++, I guess. The item is in the description of the video. Just check it out. It's there. There's a GitHub repository link. Try, you know, what I can recommend is like download the repository and try to build it first. And if you can build it and then run the code and run the game, then you're doing good already, because that usually is quite hard. One thing that, you know, you might have missed on the first stream is that you have to have the game if you want to like play with the code, because it only works with the assets from the game. And this is like it's called the diab data or diabdate.mpq file, which comes with the game, and you can get the game on GOG. It's very cheap. It's like £3 or something like that. You know, obviously there are ways to get it for free as well. I'm not going to say how to do it. You can find that out yourself, because I don't want to encourage piracy here. But if you just want to test it out, that's obviously an option. But I do recommend getting the game. It's really fun. And now we move on to, I guess we move on to the bit above in the function here, right? First of all, item size. Can we const this? Can we const item size? I think we can. Yeah, wink wink. It's an old game anyway. I'm sure no one's making money out of it, but you know, if you can, buy the game, because at least you can say you own it. Now slot. Does slot ever change? I don't think so, so let's const it as well. I kind of want to put an auto here, but let's leave it with the int. So if this lot is a number of XY slots, we return. Now IL is changed everywhere, I believe, right? Or maybe not. Maybe not. So let's const it as well, why not? Let's do an auto here, because this item is, this type is too big for us to even care about it. Oh, there you go. So we can't just have an auto, we can't just have a const there, but we can have an auto. Now, is there a way to change this so it's a const item? That's what we're going to find out. Desired L. So the desire IL. How does that change from the IL? Get item location. What does that do? Returns item location taken into consideration barbarian's ability to hold two-handed maces and clubs in one hand. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of I just want to rebuild this and see if we haven't actually broken anything so far, because I've made some more changes. Let's see. Alan there, hello Alan there. Hey, cara, beleza? I would change it to const expert instead of just const. This is runtime Alan there, so we can't do a const expert here, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would make sense to do const expert, yeah. But this is calculated at runtime, so if it was a guess a value that you can calculate compile time, then yeah, 100%. But let's see if we can still run the game and nothing broke. Because I'm just paranoid with like changing things in this code base because I don't understand it fully. And I know that when I change something, even if it's like something small or just change the order of initialization of something, it might break the game. I've done it in the past. So yeah. Let's see. Tranquilo, cara. Beleza, beleza. How's JLR? Como tá Jaguar lá? Outro dia o Francesco tava aqui em Manchester. Just talking to in Portuguese to an old friend of mine. We used to work together, me and Alan there. He's a great C++ mentor as well. Dude knows a lot. Anyway, so like, let's find out if we haven't broken anything. So, okay, we can still seem to be pasting items just fine. Can we paste shit into here? Okay, I'm satisfied enough so far that we haven't broken anything too obvious. Yeah, let's try and tackle this together, shall we? So if you guys can help me out on this, I would massively appreciate. So yeah, first things first. Let's see if we can console all this stuff. Really nice. JLR is the same. Nothing has changed. Good, yeah. So for those who are just on the conversation here or here and here, I used to work at Jaguar Land Rover, which is a car maker. I worked there for like over 2 years, I think, and Alan there was in my team. So yeah, it's good to see some old faces. Francesco's a nice guy, yeah. So Francesco was the boss that I had. This really funny guy from Italy, and yeah, I mean, I had really good memories there. Really, really good memories. In fact, you know, something I say all the time, like new jobs and stuff. Back to OBA. Again, not finished yet, man. So we used to work on this project called OBA, which is like streaming data out of the car. Can't really say much more, I guess, because I'm not sure what the contract says, but yeah, good to know it's still going. So still in the car, still got some code running in the cars, I guess. But yeah, something I was going to say, when I worked at JLR, we had a really, really good code base. Like, it was very easy to understand, and we had very nice processes as well. Like, we had an entire and complete pipeline for C++, like embedded applications that would build, cross-compile it to the car machines and stuff. Now it's OBG. Nice. What does the G stand for? What does the G mean? Why G stands for gateway. Nice. Onboard gateway. I think, yeah, they were talking about that already when I was in a JLR. Tim moved as well, didn't he? So Tim was the big boss. It's a guy that was very nice as well as a boss. He used to work at JLR with us, and now he's at Amazon, I think. So it's good to see that people are, you know, progressing. And yeah, we should meet up at some point, Alan. There, let's set up. You know, whenever you're in the UK, let me know and we'll set up a coffee or something like that. We'll go to a nice restaurant. Let's try to, you know, if you do come to Manchester, if Jaguar tells you to come to Manchester at some point, then let me know and we'll meet up. I'll take you to a nice Brazilian restaurant around here. Churrascaria, cara. Very good Brazilian steakhouses in Manchester. So yeah, so I wanted to kind of constify this, but we have this desired location, which is the get item location. So if the P class is barbarian, item.ilock. What's ilock? Ilock is none. Item equip type. Okay. Okay, so if it's a barbarian class, and we have, if you have a barbarian hero and then is a two-hand item and it's any of a sword or a mace, then we return it as one hand. Okay, so this just Otherwise, we just return iLock, right? So we need to put in the item here. I am very tempted to just change this function slightly. So instead of the item, it takes the current I location for the item. So slot find target slot on the cursor. Dude, this is getting difficult. So like this is finding this finds the slot under the cursor and the item location. With that slot, it tells you whether it's like an item that goes as your body armor or as your helmet or as an amulet or something like that. And then if we have when we have the hold item here, we also get the desired location, right? So this could definitely be auto const because I'm not changing it. Just replying to a text here. Yeah, so we can definitely set this to auto const, but then this bit is related to this, right? So we kind of want to merge these two together. So if it's one hand or two hand, so this is an int age. I mean, yeah, so the only reason this is here is basically because we have that barbarian class. So a barbarian hero can hold 2 item hands in one hand. In which case it means that if we have a 2-hand item, if the eye location is 1 hand, Zayed is 2 hand, then we automatically change it to 2 hand, right? So that's the only reason why this is here. I'm gonna leave that for now. I think this is okay. I mean, I would love to const this, but we can't because of this code here. I mean, we could still move that up there, right? So we can do something like I'm not sure if it's going to make it more readable, but we can kind of put this as a as an auto-called thing in here. So we can put constant there, and then we can put that in there, put it inside my lambda. Nice to see you having fun. I need to drop. See you. Thank you, May. Obrigado, Alander. Abraço, abraço. Dá like aí, cara. Obrigadão. Right, yeah. Hermanas. Oh, hey man. Hey Hermanas. How's it going, dude? I'm not doing too bad, man. How are you doing? So you want to say that if this lot is in between that, we want to return. We kind of want to return this. And else down here. We return this here. right? And then we also have something like this to check if the, I guess the desired thing would be down here. And we can put this into a function and call it something better, I guess. So yeah, or it'd get item location, right? So we have get first, get item location. No, we already have that function. Get item, get target item location. I'm not too sure about his name. But we're gonna go with this. So we're gonna just basically just copy and paste this. Oh, actually, let's just move it all over here. So we have int, auto, ii. What was it before? ii is equal 0, right? Now I'm confused, I don't know what I've done here, but yeah. What's item location table? Unequipable. Invalid. Let's put it as invalid first. Is it ilock? Invalid? Yeah. Oh, this should have been I location, right? So item. And we can pass in the int slot there. Item location. Item location. Oh, no way, we need the player as well in this. Jesus Christ. So const player. Okay. Good to hear. I'm doing well too. From one interview to another, looking for a job in these days mostly. Nice, dude. So, out of interest, like how many interviews have you had so far in this like iteration of job search? I'll tell you what, dude. When I was looking for a job last year, I must have had like maybe 15 interviews in the end. So yeah, I know it's crazy, dude. And keep going. You find something eventually. Right. So we need to return the item location, which is an I. What's item location table? It has item equip type. So this is get item equipped. That's a little bit better. Now I'm a little bit more sure about this name of the function, because that's what it does. In here, we gotta do that. I guess the const auto item location and get item equip type, and then we have slot, which is the slot itself, and then the player. Wow, 15, nice. I've done 7 so far. Dude, it's nice, yeah. You get a job, dude. Are you finding do you live in, is it Turkey that you said? I'm guessing it's Turkey, right? I think someone said that from Turkey. So are you looking for a job in Turkey, or are you like looking for a job elsewhere? Do you live elsewhere? That's my question. Now, can we not do this? So this is const. Let's put a constant here and see what has changed, because there. It's changed in here and here, as well as here, and then desired L. Wait a second. So this if statement, what does it do? If the item is unequipable and the desired location is not the same as where the item should go, then we should return it. Huh. Which means that I can... This breaks some sort of... This breaks my idea, because I was thinking that the desired IL was just being used for this purpose here. But I'm not too sure now. It's been used down there as well, so what can we do? Yeah, mostly from Turkey till I become more confident in programming. I hope very soon I'll be able to contribute to your coding sessions somehow. Yeah, dude, don't worry about it. I mean, it will come eventually. Like, you'll get better as long as you keep practicing every day or most days, and you actually know you get a job in the industry as well. You gain much more experience soon. I knew, like, I thought I knew a lot before I started working, but once you start working, you kind of realize that you know nothing, and a lot of other people know a lot more than you. So you kind of learn from others as well when you're at work. You know, hell, I still learn at work from other people. I don't consider myself a bad developer. I know quite a bit about certain things, but there's always someone that's better than me, and I always like aspire to be, you know, just as good as other people as well that, you know, I look up to. So yeah, just what I'm saying is just keep practicing, and you become good eventually. So desired IL here is not equals to IL. So what can we do about this? So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to pass this in. It's kind of shit. I'll be right back. 1 minute. I'll close the door anyway, so. Hello. There's always going to be more to learn. Indeed, Carlos. Indeed. Spoken like a true senior right there, dude. So. You know, one of the things that I was actually talking to on Discord with someone that was just asking me a random question. He was like, this guy wanted to make I guess a web backend to handle like real-time notifications. And then this person was asking me like, oh yeah, how do companies usually deal with like massive notification systems to, you know, millions of people out there? So, and he was asking like, oh yeah, should I use WebSockets? The WebSockets only do something like, you know, 65,000 connections simultaneously. Or should I use this other thing? And I'm like, dude, I'm not really a backend developer, but you know, I can safely say that, like, you know, using WebSockets is not going to be your problem. It's not going to be the bottleneck. The bottleneck is probably going to be the web development framework that you're going to be using. That's not going to support more than like 1,000 connections at any given time. But then I was like, you know, don't worry about the robustness of your system. Just try and do something very simple, something that you can just like start writing and finish it, and that adds some value to your product. So like if you can get it's this idea of a minimum viable product, right? So the idea of a minimum viable product is that you've got your idea, you want to implement a system, just do the simplest possible thing you can do to achieve what you want to do. You know, if you have a problem with performance later on, you fix it. If you have a problem with scalability later on, you fix it. So a lot of things that I see with new developers nowadays is that they worry too much about making their programs very robust and very like scalable and stuff, that they forget that they actually have to do this one simple thing first to actually achieve something. So you get a lot of like unfinished projects with, you know, new programmers, just because they get too bogged down in the very kind of complicated details that they don't need to worry about until later on. You know, when, you know, let's be honest, if you're making an app, your app is not going to have like more than like 5 users per day when you start. So like there's no point in worrying about scalability until you reach a point where you can scale your software. Yeah, make it work first and then make it scale. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was trying to say. But I guess the message here is the following: like if you're trying to make something, just sit down and do it. Like, don't worry about making it perfect. Just do the simplest thing you can do. And that's one of the things that I do in my streams. Like, I've got this idea, I'm going to stream it, and I'm going to like start and finish it, right? I don't start making a headless Golang CMS by, you know, looking at the scalability first. Like, not at all. I look at the functional bits first. But yeah. I guess it's kind of what you get nowadays. If you know, there's a lot of like content creators that do coding, and all of them focus on their content on like the shiniest new architectures and the new APIs that have come out. So if I'm a beginner watching these guys, you know, I'm thinking I've got to learn these things, right? You know, I've got to understand why, you know, how HTMX works, and I've got to understand how React is going to make my application better to, I don't know, reactify in the future, or, you know, create the UI. But, you know, I don't necessarily agree with those ideas. I think, you know, people should get the very basics first. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's difficult because of the many content creators out there that make it sound like you need to understand the complicated stuff before you do anything else. But yeah. Get item equip type, we've got that. As I said, I need to pass this into here, which is not ideal, I guess, right? But yeah, why not? Let's just do it. So we've got the item equip type, desired location, and this is just an EU int, right? Yeah, so we can leave it here. Now we've got the const player here. We can remove that, and then actually let's copy this as well. And here we can do a desired location. And then obviously we're gonna have that issue here. We can paste it. I don't know whose word this was, but sometimes even some opportunities looks fancy and shiny. We should be able to reject and continue to our own path towards our own goals. Yeah, that's true. Like a good example is, let me think of a good example to this, right? I mean, database is a good example. Like, there are so many databases, and they all have like their own advantages and disadvantages. But at the end of the day, if you understand the very basic ones like SQL and like DynamoDB, which just stores JSON, like the rest of them are just like, you know, little details that you don't really have to worry about until you know, come across some of the problems that those very specific databases solve. Which, you know, there's no point in worrying about what kind of database you're going to use in your project for like 2 weeks when you could have just spent that time instead just doing something that will actually, you know, go towards your MVP goals. So yeah. So desired location. Why is that not going into here? Desired. Oh yeah. And then we also have the desired location if it's not the... So if the item is unequipable, and if it's not unequipable, and the location is not the same, okay. Yeah, I've been using SQLite for everything recently because I don't want to worry about setting up Postgres. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then when you have to worry about using Postgres because it has more functions that you could benefit from in your application, then you switch. Like, you know, it's fine just going for the simplest shit. So IT, okay, so we do have to change this IT thing, which is here, so it cannot be a const function. Yeah, I mean, this is what I've been dreading the most. What I've been dreading the most is this bit of code here. Like, I don't know, I just can't figure exactly what this does. So when we have an item that we have an item location that's unequipable, that's going into the inventory, and let me run that so you guys can figure out what I mean. It does a bunch of checks, like a lot of checks here, especially like the go checks. I guess the go checks are just here to kind of combine two different gold items that you may have. So like you may have like 3,000 gold and another item in your hand that's like 3,000 gold, and you will combine both of them to like a one kind of like 6,000 gold if it supports that. I think it caps it at 10,000 gold, so it calculates what you can add and then you keep the rest of it. So yeah, I think that's what it's for. VC package or Conan, which one is the best to set up? Does this support both of them? It supports Conan as well? I wasn't aware. I thought you have to do VC package here, dude. Yeah, it seems like you have to do VC package here, dude. Yeah. I used VC package before. Yeah, I mean, for this project, Slim, if you're actually compiling this project, it has to be VC package, so get that installed. They don't support Conan, as far as I can tell here, right? No Conan files. Yeah. Dude, if you're actually compiling this project, I've also got the CMake presets that I've added myself here. They don't have a CMake preset, but that will allow you to build in Visual Studio on VS Code, like Visual Studio compilers on VS Code. If you do want that, let me know on Discord and I'll send it over to you. And I'm building natively for Windows, by the way. Okay, we've compiled it, so let's see if we haven't broken anything. Items are still being moved around. Now, yeah, let's look at this ugly bit of code here. So if the item is unequipable, so the IL is unequipable, which is 7 here, it's going to check for the cell number that we're trying to add it in. For me, it was 1, so the second cell in there. And it's not gold, so it's not going to go through this. So any item that's not gold is going to go through here. So this is checks that the item we're pasting only overlaps one other item. Yeah, so this is what I thought it was doing before. We actually did go through this. So yeah, it checks all the other items, all the other rows here to make sure we're not overlapping more than one item. All right. I mean, I'm not. This is kind of interesting to decipher. It's time for me to learn something new today. Hello, Canal. I mean, we're not really learning anything here. We're just refactoring and trying to understand the code. But I hope you appreciate the stream nonetheless, dude. Yeah. So original cell. So we go for each row. Row offset. So item size high. Ah, okay, so we're doing like a check on. Okay, I kind of guess what this is doing now. So this is going through each row and each column in the item offset. And test cell, the original cell plus row offset plus row column. So we're going to check the ID of each item here, right? I guess. So we assert that the test cell is less than inventory grid. Okay, yeah. So if inventory grid is in 0 and the absolute of test cell, if IV is the absolute of the test cell, dude, what's IT again? Jesus Christ. So if IT is not the same as, is not 0 and is not IV, then we found 2 different items that would be displaced by the held item. Can paste the item here. Let's see what this means, right? So this is what we're doing. So we're pasting something here. I'm gonna let it run. So we're only gonna stop when we have 2 overlapping items, right? So for example, right in the middle here. This is where this triggers. So what's IT? It's 3 and IV is 7. So IV is the absolute value of the grid. Shaifu Galton. I hope I spelled the name correctly. Welcome to the stream, dude. By the way, for the guys that just tuned in, drop a like, guys. It will help me out quite a lot. So yeah. So I just don't understand what this inventory grid kind of explains. So this inventory grid is like an array that has one int 8 value for each cell in your inventory, right? So let me just show it to you what I mean. So this whole thing here in your inventory, that's what the inventory grid is. It's just an array that holds one integer for each of these cells, right? Now, I don't understand exactly what values go into that inventory grid, because if we look at it now, you can see that there is some items in this position here, like 2 and 3. I don't know which one that is. Actually, let me put the booklet here, so it's kind of easier to show you guys what it actually does. So, and if I put that there, so you can see that in position 0 and 1, there will be a value for the booklet. And then in positions 10 and 11, there will also be a value for the buckler, because it's only like a 4x4 thing. And this is kind of what we have here. So the buckler would be like there, right? So if you shift that in here, that's what the buckler is. It's not 2. I thought it was going to be like something like 2 and the same value all the way, but it's not. You can take a look. You see this is 3 and 3 here, and then in 10 and 12 is 3 and minus 3. So I don't understand why these values are minus and these values are mixed. I don't necessarily know what the inventory grid represents just yet. That's my point. So yeah. But it must mean something, because it's checking that we have a different absolute value, right? So what I can see straight away is that each item has the same numbers everywhere in the grid, right? So for example, if I was to place this item here instead, right? And if we just make that trigger somehow again, I can see that all the values on 0, 1, and then 10, 11, and then 20, 21 will have the same offset absolute. So like -1, -1, and then we have -1, -1 here, and then 20 and 21 will be 1 and -1, right? So this is what we kind of get there. So this is what it's checking, that the same absolute value is found everywhere. So if you find 2 overlapping absolute values, then that means you have 2 overlapping items, which means you can't paste the item and we return early here, right? So I guess this is what we can do. We kind of figured out what this means by just looking at the code and trying to understand the structure, right? So let's do that. So let's move all of this into a function. So what do we have here? Okay, so there to there. So we're gonna move this whole thing into a function that has an actual name. Oh, I forgot about this, yeah. PowerToys has this thing where I can point out what I'm trying to talk about, I guess, but I never use it. Anyway, so yeah, let's call it a void. Actually, it has to be something like a bool, right? So bool some function name. We're gonna name this function in a second. I don't know what to put in it just yet. So we need to go down twice here, and we gotta return true there, and here we're gonna return false, right? Now what do we need here? We need this lot for the item, which is an integer representing where the item is gonna go, in which slot. We also, what do we need? We need a player. Inventory grid test cell isn't. Can we make it a const player? And then we need the item size in here too. So const size, item size. Okay, that is a little bit better now. So we're casting this to a unsigned integer. So we start as 0 and we go to the number of row offset, height. Okay, this is getting the row offset, so it's 10 items per inventory size and slots. There you go, yeah. There's 10 items width-wise, and this is kind of getting like 0 and then 10, and then let me show you what I mean. So that row offset just means like where the row starts, right? That's what it means. So if we look into here, stop it. So this is 0, there's that 0 offset, and then it's gonna go to 10, and then 20, and then 40, right? That's what we're gonna have. I mean, so const size, what is size? Size of integer. I do wonder if you can just like bang a 10 in here, like those values that we did, if we have to generate them all the time. Well, so the origin cell, check that the origin cell is the slot minus slot inventory first. So which slot it's going to go into. Can we const this? We can const this indeed, right? Yeah. Now IT. So IT, what is IT? Oh gosh, what is IT? So you call the function here. So IT, I still don't know what this function is, but we're gonna, what this value is, but we're gonna pass into here just for the sake of it. Const to int IT, or just integer IT, is that what it is? Oh no, it's int 8, uint 8, so is it uint 8 or int 8? Yeah, it's int 80, so just a byte. So if IT isn't 0, and where does it come from? Yeah, I still don't know. This is only related to the gold. Like this only changes when gold is the item. Not entirely sure here, but Anyway, so let's keep going. So yeah, this is gonna get the offsets. So this is basically gonna go through row offset in 0, 10, 20, and 40, right? I believe it is. Oh no, 30, sorry. 0, 10, 30. 0, 10, 20, 30, yeah. Which kind of could be something like stud iota, right? Yeah, let's try that. How do we use iota? That's a good place to call it an iota. Standard library function here. So std iota. Let's look at the documentation. So stud iota basically just generates a range for you. That's all it does, right? So if we want to go into Compiler Explorer, we can take a look at it. So godbolt.org. Okay, let's refresh that because it's not very nice. We need to include, is it algorithms? Is it algorithms numeric? Yeah. So include numeric here. And I don't know what this is. Let me just remove all of that. So we can do something like stud iota. And what do we have here? So forward iterator first, last, and then the value. So first and last, the range of elements to fill with sequentially increasing values and starting with value. So I want a difference as well. The initial value to store the expression must be well formed. No, yeah, I don't want that. So I don't want to increase it by 1. Well, I guess I could, right? Iota range. I don't want to just increase by 1 though. I want to do a C++ range generator. I don't want to do a ranges either though. Oh. Now, can we use this with something like a transform? That would probably work well, but I mean, all of this just to turn this into something a bit smaller and easier to read, but maybe we keep that there. C++ create range of integers. There's got to be a standard library. Well, there's standard library algorithm that will do this for us, right? Iota does that. Yeah, I mean, range is factory. Just waking up, so hard to keep up with it. It's alright, Carlos. I mean, I'm finding it hard to keep up with it, and I've been awake for the whole day, so. I don't want to use the ranges because that's not like. That is not in C++, whatever compiler they use, right? I guess, which would be a little bit. I guess it would be. I'm not sure if they're using C++ 20 in their compilation in the CI, but do we know? So if we look into CPP standard, do we know what this is? CMake CXX standard. So in the main CMake list, apparently we have 20. Oh right. And is this for sure? For Clang Tidy. Okay, so we do have C++ 20, which means we can use the ranges, right? Stud iota numbers begin end 1. Yeah, that will create the range with like 0, 1, 2, 3 from the beginning and the end. But I don't want that. I want 0, 10, 20, and 30. A Day of Redemption. I'm getting a headache. Carlos, oh, your Day of Redemption. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining again, dude. It's good to see you. Yeah, I mean, you generally get a headache. I mean, don't worry about the documentation, because this is like, documentation in C++ is extremely bad, and some of the examples they make here is just equally terrible. So that's one of the things I don't like about C++ is the documentation and the lack of like an official documentation where things are just made to look simple. But yeah. Assigns results of successful invocations object gen, which with a step. That's what we want to do, right? Generate infinite range, square each element in the range with transform. Yeah, but views is in C++ 23, right? Unless I'm wrong. Stud views? Is it C++ 23? No, C++ 20 as well. So we could use views, I guess. I guess we could, right? I mean, I have a master's and I can't read docs, so that argument doesn't hold, dude. Yeah, so, I mean, we seem to be running C++ 20 here, so maybe we can do something like std iota. Let's look at the Ranger stuff. I'm new to the Ranger stuff as well, to be honest. Like, I've not used much of it. Even numbers, take 5. And then reverse. So, okay, where's the iota here though? I was promised iota somewhere. But why is there an iota here and no iotas in the thing? No, I don't want stack exchange. So what's in the ranges? So let's see. So there's views here, like generate or something like that. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, iota. There you go. So views has an iota. So stud views iota, which is different to std iota, by the way. Oh my god, look at this documentation. Jesus Christ. Carlos, CPP docs is pure metaprogramming with templates and such. You have to have a PhD in computer science to understand this bullshit. Yeah, you do. Maybe this one will help us a little bit. Canal, missed your message. Study iota numbers. Okay, read that one. Transform, begin, end. Yeah, I could do that as well, but I'm looking for an even simpler way to do it. That's my problem here. I'm looking for an even simpler way to do it with ranges now. I'm setting up linting for C++. I love Golang linting. Yeah. I mean, because yeah, you know, Canal, I could just create a vector with like 0, 10, 20, and 30, which is fine. But I don't want to hard code those values because I don't know if this motherfucker here ever changes the, you know, the thing. So ideally I want to do it like a const expert, like generate something like that takes in 0 to like whatever 10 times 40 and increases by 10, right? That's what I want to do, and that will create me something like, you know, 0, 10, 20, and 30. So this is all I'm trying to do in C++ with the new Ranger stuff. That's why I'm taking some time here to figure this out. You know, I have an associate in business. I'm screwed. I mean, it's a good degree as well, dude. It doesn't matter if you have a degree or not. I mean, generally it's the practice that gets you able to read all this shit here. And the thing is, even I had a lot of practice. I had years and years of practice in this, and I still struggle to understand some of it. So that's the hard truth of C++. Not C++ only though, even in Rust as well, there are certain documentation pages that are very, very difficult to understand unless you've got a lot of practice in it. But you know, what is this? You know, this is what I mean. You don't get this in Rust. You get this in C++. So, like, I just want to find out what arguments go into it. So we've got template, and then definitions, begin, end. I mean, might as well look at the examples now, right? std iota. Generate, numbers begin, numbers end, start increment. Yeah, I still find that extremely cumbersome though. One, two, three. So we have slot in width and so. Yeah, I've got an idea. Maybe we'll just like iota it. We'll do iota from value 1 and value 2. So we do from 0 to whatever it was. So item in inventory size in slots dot height, right? So this is going to be 0 to 3, hopefully, and then we can do a stud views transform, I guess, function. And we're going to transform each one of them by, I guess, why do I feel like we're going to get a copyright strike? It's a High School Musical sound, so like we're definitely going to get a copyright strike here. Inventory size in slots. No, width. Is this better than what we had before? Probably not. Look at the size of this though. That's one of the things no instance of loader for a transform that matches the argument list. Expected what? I'm missing something here. Okay. This is still just as long as whatever this shit is, you know. SSL. SSL-free alert handshake failure. SSL-free alert handshake failure. I'm live code and refusing to install dependencies for my project. Make sure you have the right certificates though. I've had the issue where my machine didn't have the up-to-date certificates, and Conan gave me a similar error. So yeah, I mean, this is not better though, is it? This is definitely not better than what we had before. Does it take another step here? Because if it takes a step, even better. Value 2 now. It takes value 1 and value 2. Yeah, no. Because what I could do now is essentially like for offset, for row offset in whatever this is. Ooh. Right, and we can do something like alter const, alter. And then we can, what is row offset in this case? Yeah, but this is not better than this, and it saves like very few lines. It just feels like we should be able to do this very easily with one function call here, but it's not the case, is it? Yeah, maybe we keep this here. I thought we would be able to improve this with the new C++ ranges, but it's not the case. So this goes through every row, we know that, and this goes through every column in the offset with the item size. The height times the width, and then that times the width, yeah. The test cell is the origin cell. What is the origin cell again? That's where it's going. It's where you've got your mouse on. And then we add the row offset and the column offset. Okay, so the original cell is going to be added by every possible size. Okay, so if you've got your mouse like here, and your item is like this big, it's going to check this one, then going to check this one, then check this one, then this one, then this one, and this one. That's understandable. It's not understandable if we can figure out what IT is though. So where is it? Some func name. We're also gonna get a copyright strike for this video, for this song, so I'm just gonna change it. And what do we need here? So we need the slot, and we need the player, and we need the size. Oh no, the item size. Okay. Yeah, I still don't know what IT is. Like, what the hell is IT? I have no idea how this is even calculated. So, item cell begin minus item cell begin. Clearly, there is something very special about all these values being minus. And the only value that's plus is this one here. If you have a buckler, you'd get something like this for a shield, right? So it checks that the cell begin -1. Yeah, this is confusing as hell. I don't know what this is. Now we change IT as well in here. Oh no, we do change IT there. Okay, IT is used here, so unequipped. So clearly this IT variable is only related to when you have something going in the unequipable thing, right? Can't you jump to definition on it? Yeah, you can jump to definition. There you go. It works, but can you tell me what that means? That's the problem. I've looked at the definition a few times. Yeah, so IT, like, I'm just trying to find the name for it. Like, what does it actually represent? So it's item something, right? I don't know what it is. And it's only ever relevant when you have an item going into the inventory. Which is, you know, in this case here. And it's only ever used when we also have an item going into the inventory here, unequipable, which is this thing here. And then we don't use it anymore, so that's interesting. Delete it and see what breaks, maybe. That's the thing though, it's a bit difficult to figure out what's gonna break. right? It's a bit difficult to figure out what's going to break, because this is not only to do with checking the overlaps, it's also to do with like changing the items around and sending network messages. So I don't know if that's a good idea, because it might seem like it doesn't break anything, but then when I actually raise the PR and some people try to run it, they might figure out that I've introduced a bug somewhere. So I'd rather refactor without changing the behavior. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah. It is the item you are holding, and if you add your item to an inventory overlaps with exactly one item, then the holding item in inventory replaces with it with overlapped one. No, not quite. The item you're holding is this one here. Player the hold item. That is the item you're holding. Because it, when it's a gold item as well, it changes the value depending on what's in the inventory grid, right? Which is kind of what's tricky. I guess the only question I have here to the maintainers of this is like, what is inventory grid? What does it store? Because obviously there isn't any kind of documentation on this. I can kind of guess that it's something to do with the size of the item or the item type. So for example, if it's like a 4-sized item, it might have a value like this. So this values are like -2, -2. And then for some reason, this is a +2 every time for every item. And then -2. Now, depending on which one you're looking at, it will change. It definitely stands for item something. Item, I don't know. But then it's used again only when you have an equipable item, which is an item that's going inside your directory, inside your inventory. And you can see that IT, the previous IT here, is used in quite a few places, right? And then it's returned and changed in here. But yeah, we don't actually use it anywhere else, so we could just not return it at all. Like nothing will break if I do this, right? Hopefully nothing will break if I do this. Because it wasn't actually, it was been assigned to but not used. So let's rebuild this. That's actually not a bad find. Can't you debug it? Yeah, I can debug it. I did it, maybe before you joined the stream, I had a 40-minute debugging session to figure out what this was, and I decided to skip it for now, so we're back at it now. So I guess we're going to try and do it. Time permits, obviously, because I need to log off soon. A lot of things are getting recompiled, and I'm worried now that I've removed some functionality somewhere. Get item equip type. I don't know what to call this function yet, because I don't really know what it does apart from, I guess, checking the overlapping items. So this is, this is a good function name for now, right? So I'm gonna refactor it, and then we're gonna call it check overlapping items. Check overlapping items. Okay, how do we apply this? What the fuck? Yeah, for some reason this is recompiling a lot of stuff, and I'm scared. Like, why is it recompiling a lot of stuff? We just change like one variable. Ooh, scary. I think we might have touched something that shouldn't have been touched. Yeah, and that IT variable was only ever used Where? Down here. And check inventory item. Change inventory item. So the prev IT is the one, so if it was 0, it goes here. Yeah, bottom line is it gets used in here, right? So what is previous IT? What's 1, 2, 3? We forgot to see this. 1, 2, 3. Inventory list item. The item's inventory list index is expected. This already has +1 added to it since inv grid can store a 0 index. Okay, this kind of makes a little bit of sense. Maybe not as much as we need here, but this is the inventory list item. It's expected. This already has a +1 added to it since inv grid can't store a 0 index. Did we add a +1 anywhere? So if it's 0, what do we do? Do we add a +1 to it? Previous item is number plus plus. What's pnum? Jesus Christ. And it's even better. Like, I don't know what the struct is. Well, it's the player struct, but I don't know what pnum inventory is. Like, is it the current number of the inventory? Let's see how this is used. Player.pnum inv plus plus. So inventory index is the player number of inventory, and if it's gold, we do player p gold. We add to the variable that's holding the overall amount of gold, it seems. An inventory list inv item is going to be the item that you're holding now. And p number of inventory. Is this tracking the number of items in your inventory that you have? Or the number of used cells in your inventory? That's what I wonder. No, it can't be the number of cells being used because this is only a +1 there. So it's got to be like the number of items in your inventory. So inventory grid II, guess the pnum. Oh gosh. Oh, hold on a second. I think I just figured the shit out. Right. I was gonna call off the stream here, but I think I've just figured something massive. So we have the inventory list, right? So it may look something like this. Now let's say that these were all zeros, right? So you have nothing in your inventory, nothing at all. And this is the inventory grid here that we were talking about before, right? As soon as you add a shield that goes in this position here, right? So in this position, you add the shield. If there was no items before, so if the p was a num inv was 0, then this would give like an index to it, I guess something like 1, right? So all of these items are going to be something like, you know, 1 here. Let's replace it. Let's replace it. So all these items are going to be like -1, -1. And then for some reason this one is 1, I don't know why, and then this one is -1, right? That's my theory. And then if you do the same thing for another item that goes like in here, right? So in these two things, again, it will be like another, I'm guessing it's going to be like 2, right? So it's going to be like 2 and whatever, -2 or 2, I don't know which one it is, but it's going to be a 2 here. So it's assigning the ID based on the number of pinv, right? But let's figure out. So we've compiled it. Let's run that and see what we find. So where are we? So we will be changing the inventory item in here. And I'm actually going to throw everything I've got away. Right? So now if I pick one of these items up and put it here, right? So this is 0, 1, 10, 11, and 20, 21, right? Let's see what happens. So this is not a gold, it's not going to go through this. And the previous, it is 0 because there was nothing in there. And pnum inventory is 0, right? You can see what's going to happen here. So it's saying that the player inventory list, which holds each item, right, for each cell, it holds a reference to an item, I guess, for each cell. That's going to be the whole item, the pop. We say that we have one more item now. We've got previous it is now 1, right? So we have 1 here. And let's see what happens. So we add item to inventory grid, which will have the previous it to 1, 0, grid index is 0, and the item size is 2 and 3, right? So it's going to go through all of these. I'm not sure if you guys can see it here, but like all of those positions where the shirt is, it's going to turn all of them into -1s, and only one of them is going to be like a +1 for some reason. I don't know why it's minus and plus like values yet, but this is what this is doing. So you see here that it's going to, at the end of this function, let's put it here, right? So if you look at the inv grid, 0 and 1 is -1, 10 and 1 is -1, and then 20 and 21 is going to be that. And maybe the answer to the minus value lies on this function as well. Like I don't know why yet, but we can see here that it's this check here occurs. So if it's like the item height -1, so if x is 0, so if it's on the 0th column and the item height is the last row basically, then we put that to list index. Does it say why? It doesn't say why here. Oh, there you go. Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't say why. This should be the item's top left grid tile. Yeah. So we figured out. I mean, at least we figured out, and we can work with that in the future, right? Oh, Kunal, welcome, dude. Thank you, thank you for supporting, man. Really appreciate it. I've been saying that I'm going to create Patreon at some point because Patreon is a bit easier to, like, basically spend time with people that are supporting you with some money, and it's easier for me to set some goals and stuff in there than YouTube. But I also need to check the YouTube membership because I know it's like in a different language, for example, and I kind of want to do things like viewer only, not viewer only streams, but maybe a Discord chat where we can I can answer questions and stuff for you guys. But we figured it out. So we figured out what it means. Or have we? So I was saying that it is, where is it? Change inventory item. So let's see what this gets called in here. Yeah, so that is the index in the inventory list. Now, why is the index? So inventory list here, what do we have? Oh gosh, yeah. So we've got iSeed1 here. That's the inventory list, right? So Law was literally just searching for your Discord. Yeah, dude, it's on the YouTube channel, by the way, if you click on about. By the way, if you guys could give it a like on this video, and if you've not yet subscribed, if you can subscribe, I would appreciate that. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subscribers soon. It's going to take us some time, but we'll get there. Okay. I think it's a little bit better now. We understand it a little bit better. I mean, this is going to take another stream. I'm going to call it a day here, guys, because I'm fucking falling asleep, unfortunately. Like, I've been already coding the whole day and doing this a little bit more after work as well. So, but yeah, I'm definitely going to continue this stream, and I've been enjoying it so far. I know, you know, from your point of view, it might look a little bit boring if I'm like just debugging code and stuff. But I think we're going to continue with the stream idea, at least until we finish the PR anyway. So yeah, thank you all for joining. If you can drop a like, I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I appreciate you guys being here as well and like coding and suggesting me new things. It's very, very useful to have, you know, other people looking at your work. But yeah, I mean, I'll see you guys in like 2 days. Stay tuned to the channel, and yeah, have a good night, guys, and bye bye. Whoa, bye bye.